Kentucky, the hail covering the ground in some instances, anywhere up to dime size to ping pong ball size. And that threat is still there. Speaking of the hail, let's take a look at it once again. That core has been kind of waxing and waning here as far as its look of intensity, but right here over southwestern Muhlenberg County, max hail size noted 1.7. Could that size be reaching the ground? Yeah, it's possible, and that would be very close to golf ball size. So hail of that size is capable of producing some damage. And that's going to be working its way through southern Muhlenberg County, the area south of Greenville and toward Lake Malone. You could be dealing with large hail around the Lake Malone area within the next 20 to 30 minutes or so as that's moving to the east, that hail core, along with the storm at 25 miles an hour. And it looks like we got a new tornado warning coming down that's going to take in part of Butler County and northern Logan County. So new tornado warning here for southern Butler County and also for northern Logan County. This until 9:15 this evening. All right, so that's that's coming from the National Weather Service out of Louisville. And they are warning in advance of this one, and for good reason, because this storm has not only dropped a tornado, it has produced significant damage, and it's still very healthy looking here on radar. It's been a long-lived supercell indeed. So new tornado warning for what would be southwestern Butler County. That would include the Quality community and also the Lewisburg community of northern Logan County in on this warning as well until 9:15 this evening. So there's a closer look at who's downstream of that tornado. And again, we are assuming a tornado could still be on the ground out of that one right now in northernmost Todd County, southernmost Muhlenberg County. And it's going to be tracking into northern Logan and southwestern parts of Butler County within the next 45 minutes or so, hence the issuance of the warning there. All right, this is reflectivity mode that we're looking at here on Max Storm HD. And we're going to go back to storm rotation mode. This is velocity. And boy, this still looks very healthy here, where you've got gate-to-gate shear involved on the southwestern flank of the storm. So bright red against a bright green. Negative velocity versus positive velocity on either side of the storm. Clear those out here. And right there in that area of northern Todd County, there's a new sweep coming across. So the possible tornado will be very close to the Muhlenberg-Todd County line. We'll go in a little bit tighter here to show some of the. There's Highway 181. You've also got Highway 107 in that area of northern Todd County. Again, northern Todd County, southern Muhlenberg County, please be in your basement or the lowest level of your home right now. This could still be producing a tornado in that area of Highway 181 and Highway 107 just west of Lake Malone. Let me centralize Lake Malone in the shot, and I'll point it out to you. There it is, that body of water that you see right there that kind of straddles the county lines of Muhlenberg, Logan, and Todd. The possible tornado would be just a few miles west of Lake Malone right now. So if you live in the Lake Malone area, please be in your safe spot. And then getting to the east of there, you've got Highway 1293, you've got US 431, a very well-traveled highway that runs south of Drakesboro, south of Central City into the Lewisburg area. Lewisburg, you are in that tornado warned area. Please be seeking shelter right now. Even though this storm is still a good ways to your west at the moment, it is steadily tracking to the east. And if it holds its own, it's going to be arriving in the Lewisburg area possibly within the next half hour or so. Let's do some tracking on the area of rotation itself. And as it works to the east, you can see Lewisburg now showing up here. 9:02, estimated time of arrival for you. And then before that, Diamond Springs at 8:58, Deer Lick at 8:50, Cliff Hill Church at 8:43. So again, these are estimated times of arrival here on our storm track. But if you live in any of those communities, you need to be in a place of safety right now, staying away from outside walls, staying away from windows, as any lofted debris could come flying to those areas first. And we've seen this time and time again after being out on storm surveys. Justin, you've been on many yourself.
Oh, yeah.
2x4s driven into outside walls, so that's never the place to be.
Exactly. Now, Shane, I do want to point out, if you will switch over to just radar scan real quick, that the latest scan that just came in, it has filled in that gap, which would indicate if there's still that area of rotation, that if this thing does put anything on the ground, it would be rain wrapped at this point, as the rain has kind of filled in that little gap where the inflow was coming in, which could also sometimes help choke it out too, but it is still showing some rotation, not need for that. Still that chance that we could see some road still. I mean, it has a history of already putting a tornado on the ground. So if you are still in these areas, you need to be in your shelter, especially over towards Whiskey Bay, Wolf Lick. Go ahead and get into your safe shelter. Along with Deer Lick, you need to be heading to your safe shelter.
Yeah, so again, those would be the areas next in line for the possible tornado here. And all that is moving to the east at about 25 miles. I'm going to fan back out here more of Butler and Logan County, next in line for the possible tornado here. And Lewisburg, Quality, those communities within that polygon there, that tornado warning until 9:15. We continue to check in from the folks of the Weather Service. Getting a new, what we call mesoscale precipitation discussion. Something we haven't really harped on too much tonight because we've got the tornado threat going on right now is the threat for some flooding. This storm is producing some torrential rain outside the tornado, especially in southern Muhlenberg County. We had a lot of rain earlier today, Justin, so flooding could be a concern. Of course, now that we're in the night, you never want to try to chance it when it comes to floodwaters.
Yeah, and you know, Shane, we were talking about this earlier when I came in today, that the sunshine that we got today helped this today. If we had that cloud coverage, this wouldn't quite be the case. We got sunshine day after those showers moved through early this morning. That fueled our atmosphere, and it broke like a cap. It's like a bottle of Coke. It pops eventually, and that's what we're seeing this evening with this storm, which to rotation for quite some time. I know, Shane, you've been tracking this before I was even in here, and this storm's still looking fairly healthy, although the rain is starting to become more conglomerate across the entire segment of that storm, and velocity scans are a lot more broad compared to what they were when I first came in just a few minutes ago.
And we do appreciate viewer reports here coming in on Facebook Live. Diane Edwards saying the tornado signs are going off in Russellville. Russellville, you're not in the tornado warned area. It is to your north, but nonetheless, the sirens are probably going off there county-wide. Sirens going off also in the Auburn community. Cassie, thank you for that. Phyllis over in the Glasgow area. Glasgow, you're okay at the moment, but we are keeping an eye on things for everybody in Bowling Green and points to the east. So, again, keep the reports coming there as long as it's safe to do so. If you're in the tornado-warned area, then obviously you need to be in a safe spots right now. But we do know sirens going off in Russellville and Auburn in association with the storm. And we're now getting reports of hail at Lake Malone. Adam coming in with dime-sized hail in Lake Malone. That's in far southern Muhlenberg County. So hail is what you're going to encounter outside of the possible tornado. I'm going to take off the precip rate's going to throw back on our hail tracker here. So the hail tracker noted from Lake Malone westward, and in all reality, this could be a little bit farther east of where we're noting it right now. There's about a 5-minute delay, or could be up to that, with the hail returns here. But the strongest hail returns are showing up over southern Muhlenberg County, and they are in the neighborhood of quarter to ping pong ball size. In that blue shaded area that's working toward the western shores of Lake Malone right now. So that's the hail core. Here's the velocity. Again, our biggest concern is that we had a tornado confirmed with the storm. We continue to check in with storm spotters, continue to check with the Weather Service. We don't know for sure if that tornado is still on the ground right now, but we have to assume that it could be because rotation in the area is still fairly strong. It may not be quite as tight as it was when it moved through, say, the Crofton area earlier, but it's still there, so we cannot rule out the possibility that it may try to put down a tornado again, even if it's not doing so right now. I'm going to go a little bit tighter here. It's still including the Lewisburg area. Keep in mind, Lewisburg, if you live there, you are under the tornado warning right now, and this is getting a little bit closer to you in Lewisburg. There is Highway 181. 181 runs south of Greenville and down into the Elkton area. A pretty heavily traveled road there, so the possible tornado would be right near the Todd-Muhlenberg line, right in this area where you have the brightest green against the brightest red. We have inbound versus outbound winds there. Velocity that's negative on one side against velocity that's positive on the other. So still an area of concern there. And if there is a tornado with this storm, it would be over very close to Highway 181 right now. And if you live east of there along Highway 107, Highway 1293 along Lake Malone. And if you live around Lake Malone and you haven't got shelter, you need to do so right now. Dangerous situation there. Same goes for those of you along US 431, a little bit east of there. 431 running between Drakesboro and Lewisburg. That's the area under the tornado warning right now. And if you live along that corridor, you also need to be in a basement or at least the lowest level of your home. And then getting a little bit farther to the east, we mentioned the Quality area south of Rochester, Morgantown. You're not in the tornado warned area, but you are in Quality. So if you live in Quality, please be seeking shelter right now. Again, the storm is working to the east at about 25 miles an hour. We're going to put the movement back on it once again. And there are the communities. You've got Whiskey Bay. Now let me update that because we just got a new scan there on velocity scope. So I'm going to go from the area of tightest rotation here where the tornado could be working to the east at about 25. So that puts it in Agnes by 8:50. That would put it in Hollowville. This would be getting into northern Muhlenberg County by 8:54. Wolf Lick at 8:58. And then Haroldsville at 9:07. And the Rock Springs School area also by 9:07. Rock Springs School is in the far southwestern tip of Butler County. So all these communities under the gun over the next half hour or so with the potential for a possible tornado touchdown. We continue to check with the Weather Service spotters here from out of the offices of both Paducah, checking in with them, the offices in Paducah and Louisville. And still awaiting a report to see if there's any confirmation that a tornado could be still on the ground. But of course, we're at night. It's going to be hard here. It's rain wrapped, most likely, Justin. And a lot of times it's going to take a lot of lightning to illuminate the base of that storm cloud, that cumulonimbus, to see what might be going on, whether it's a rotating wall cloud or an actual tornado.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we say with caution, do not go out and try to look for this, because if there is a tornado on the ground, it will be rain wrapped. You won't be able to see this thing and it can blindly hit you. So don't even consider going out. Also, if you are going to be out after this storm rolls through, we could possibly see some areas of flooding, some high water, as we've seen rain throughout our early morning hours today. We caught that break, which helped fuel our atmosphere, and now we have this storm moving through, taking you outside right now, out in Greenville. Check out that lightning, frequent lightning with the storm, so stay away from windows this evening if you're in that area where that storm is, as there is quite a bit of lightning with this, as well as that chance for hail. We've seen parts of western Kentucky see that throughout our day, and we've had several reports up to ping pong size hail with this storm as it continues to track off to the east. Now, this storm has picked up to about 30 miles per hour as it's moving to the east, so just slightly a little faster. I know some folks tuning in asking if it had sped up a little bit. It's only about 30 miles per hour to the east right now is what this storm is moving to. But you can see out in Greenville, they're wet outside. The wind's really blowing with this thing, and the sky continuing to light up. So you can expect, aside from the chance of there being a tornado, hail is also an indication of things you could experience tonight, along with heavy downpours and gusty to possibly damaging winds if this is going to be moving towards your backyard.
Okay, so obviously others too farther to the east wondering, hey, am I in the path of this? Bethany checking in Gold City. Gold City, you're between Bowling Green and Franklin right now. You're okay at the moment, but just be on the lookout as we continue to track these storms working east.
Shane, could you pull up radar real quick?
Yeah, we sure can. We're going to go back to that. And
is if you look at radar, it almost looks like it's kind of recycling itself, because we had that little bit of a hook earlier. It started to fill itself in with rain, but now we're kind of getting another little hook with this, as if it's kind of recycling, going through a recycling phase to redevelop. You can see that it's kind of forming a new hook on it after we've seen it filled in just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we're back on reflectivity mode here on Max Storm HD. And what Justin's talking about is that you've got this area here, that hook echo becoming a little bit more pronounced. Earlier, it looked like it was trying to fill back in some. I say that would be the weak echo region between your hook echo back here on the southwestern flank of the storm, and then the core of the storm up here across the southeasternmost section of Muhlenberg County, but now we're noting more of a weak echo region again, so that could be a sign of some better inflow trying to get back into the storm once again. We often see this with long track supercells where they kind of wax and wane like that. So there's a possibility that some of the better inflow could be trying to get back involved here. And we're noting that around the Whiskey Bay area toward Deer Lick right now. And that would be the area of concern right now, close to Highway 107. So I'm going to go back into velocity mode here. And wow, this is still looking very impressive. Now, you've got a lot of what we call attenuation here, getting closer to the radar site out of Fort Campbell, but we can still tell very easily that there is still good gate-to-gate shear and rotation going on with the storm, which is now beginning to work its way over Lake Malone, out of Todd County, and into the northern part of Logan County. We mentioned those of you right along US 431, a very heavily traveled road between Lewisburg and Drakesboro. That's up in Muhlenberg County. Please be in a safe spot right now. There could be a tornado involved with this, and it could be very close to your area right now. And then getting farther to the east, we mentioned the quality community of Butler County. Zooming back out, you've got Sugar Grove just west of there. If you live in Sugar Grove, you're not in the Polygon warned area officially. But I wouldn't be surprised if this holds its own, that we see another warning issued a little bit farther to the east. And if you zoom back out a little bit more, there is Bowling Green. So we're keeping a close eye on this here in Bowling Green. Here in Bowling Green, we are probably, I suspect, seeing some lightning off to the northwest right now. And we may call up one of the webcams out of Bowling Green shortly here, Justin, to see what might be going on and what we can see here. But I suspect, given the amount of cloud to ground lightning strikes with the storm, which extend all the way up into Butler and Muhlenberg counties, that we are probably seeing that now here in the city of Bowling Green. Again, Warren County not under a warning at this time. It's all still to the west, but we continue to keep very close tabs of it. And you can see the potential due eastward movement could very well take this storm into Warren County within the next 45 minutes or so. It's moving to the east at 25. So just kind of guesstimating on that one. But there is the movement once again on our storm tracker. You can see the Wolf Lick area. Basically, within the next 10 minutes or so, possible tornado for you. Beachland at 9:05. Hickory Grove Church at 9:10. And then you have the Union Zion School at 9:15 this evening for estimated time of arrival. Union Zion School in far northern Logan County. This is north of Russellville. I know those of you in Russellville, also the Auburn areas, have probably heard sirens going off. We've had several reports of that. Just know that Russellville, this is to your north right now. Auburn, this is also likely to pass just a little bit to your north as well. I'm going to rework the view here, and there's Russellville, there's Auburn, there's US 6880. So this is likely going to stay a little bit north of that area. As long as it moves due east, you're okay there in Russellville and Auburn, but you're not okay there in Lewisburg and in the northern part of Logan County, most susceptible here to a possible tornado. Right now, that possible tornado looks like it is over the southern shores of Lake Malone, right along the Todd-Logan County line. We continue to check in with the Weather Service here, and we got a continuation of that tornado warning, Justin, for southernmost Butler County, northernmost Logan County until 9:15.
Yeah, and Shane, what I've been noticing, I've been kind of switching between different radars because we're kind of getting to that point where it's going to start shifting out of Fort Campbell, starting to get towards the Nashville radar site. And it's interesting to see the difference between the two scans, one showing that inflow boundary a little bit stronger than the one over in Fort Campbell.
Yeah, and I'm shifting to that right now, and we're to the point where it's crossing over from one scan to the other, and you can see what Justin's talking about right there. Just to the west of Lewisburg. Let me take away the lightning for just a moment. And you can definitely see, yeah, it's still wrapped up in that area just to the northwest of Lewisburg. Are we noting anything with lofted debris right now?
No, not seeing anything on lofted debris, so that's some good news.
Okay, yeah, that is good news. What we don't want to see on lofted debris would be a lot of blue shades. Well, earlier we were seeing a lot of that, and you can see just some bad data there extending up towards Central City. But if we were noting a lot of blue in this area, then we would certainly be a little bit more worried to the possibility that a tornado could be on the ground close to Lewisburg. That doesn't mean that you're off the hook, okay? It just simply means that you are not noticing any debris being lofted into the air at the moment in that area. Let me go back to velocity scope. And we're going back to the Fort Campbell radar once again. You can see the area of green versus red, inbound versus outbound. It's right over US 431 right now. So Lewisburg, if you're not already in a safe spot, you need to be there. If you live along US 431 north of Lewisburg, you also need to be in a safe spot now, be it a basement, storm cellar, an underground room. If not an underground room, then the lowest level of your home, staying away from outside walls and windows. That's the area under the tornado warning still until 9:15. You've also got Highway 106 in that area, which runs southward out of Butler County into northern Logan County. This will be upon you in the next little bit. And also, going back in, there's Highway 949 running there out of Muhlenberg County. Possible tornado just to the south of where your location is. So I'm going back to reflectivity here. And you can still see the storm with a hook echo displayed there very close to, if not a little bit northwest of Lewisburg, and I mean right over US 431. Okay, here comes a new sweep. So that now puts the hook echo just to the north of Lewisburg. And let's see if we've got some new velocity data here too. I'm going to toggle back and forth between the radar scope out of Fort Campbell and also the one out of the Nashville area. So bear with me here while I do that. And as I do that, you're going to see the data change somewhat here as far as the overall look. I'm going to take away the lightning here. We won't be able to go in as closely as we can with the Fort Campbell site right now, but you can still tell. I'll get in as close as I can here. Yeah, right there north of Lewisburg. This is the area of concern right now. Again, we are checking in with spotters, and right now we don't know that a tornado may still be on the ground, but this has had a history of producing a tornado. It did so near the Crofton community of northern Christian County just shy of an hour ago. We first got that report around 8:07 this evening, and as that report came down, we had a report of carport damage, structural damage in that area just south of Crofton. This is the same storm that produced it, so we still have to take that tornado warning very seriously, even though we may not know if there's a tornado on the ground because all the elements are still there. We've got the hook echo here. We've got velocity scope noting still some good inflow into the storm. It waxes and wanes a little bit, but right here is where that inflow notch is located, and that's very close to the Lewisburg area. And going back to Max Storm HD, still a very healthy-looking storm there now, crossing over Lewisburg, crossing over the southeastern corner of Muhlenberg County, south of the Drakesboro area, well south of Central City, by the way. Central City, Greenville, Powderly, you're in the clear as far as the tornado threat here. This is all happening to your south and to the east. And then the southwestern corner of Quality, you're still in the tornado warned area, even though it may pass a little bit to your south. If you live in Quality, you're still in the polygon area, so you need to be in a place of safety there in Quality. I'm going to go back tighter on the storm here happening north of Russellville. In Russellville, you're also in the clear as far as the tornado threat. This is to your north. Same goes for you in Auburn. This is to your north. Lewisburg, not in the clear, very much in an area of concern right now for the possible tornado. Storm structure looking a little bit more ragged, at least from this vantage point here, Justin, but obviously you've got what would still be a strong hail core, and I'll pop that up for you there. And it looks like the heaviest hail is just north of Lewisburg.
Yeah, like you said, it definitely looks like it's kind of fallen apart just over the last few scans, and even along with velocity scan, not as impressive. Still see some very strong winds flowing away and flowing towards. They're just not quite coming together and tightening what we need to get a tornado on the ground. So that's the good news. It is more of a broad rotation. However, still need to be concerned about this. Have some folks asking online about their locations. As far as Scottsville, you are farther south in this storm. You are in the clear. Now, as far as Bowling Green, it's getting ready to knock on our door here in Bowling Green. Tracking this, if it moves to the east, it's moving around 30 miles per hour. That would put it about another 30 minutes before it makes its way closer towards Bowling Green.
Okay, so we're approaching the 9 o'clock hour right now. And if you're watching for Bowling Green, you might be seeing now the lightning off to our west. And I'm going to go to our live webcam, and we're pointed due west here from our studios on Russellville Road. You can see the tower, and yeah, the lightning is becoming more vivid now, as expected, and there's plenty of it. There's a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning involved with this storm over southern Butler County, northern Logan County, and that lightning is becoming more frequent here in Bowling Green. And that's one sign, obviously, that the storm is getting closer and closer. The eastward movement of this is not all that fast, but as Justin mentioned a little while ago, we could be impacted here by this one within the next hour or so. As far as the tornadic component of the storm, we'll just have to see how well that holds up as it progresses closer to Warren County with time. We hope that that will weaken, obviously, but right now that component is still very much there, and you can see a lot of lightning now showing up, lighting up the skies over Bowling Green, where our AAA Systems live weather cam. Again, this is facing due west from our studios here on Russellville Road. We'll keep tabs on that. That lightning is going to become more visible, more vivid with time. So there's the watch warning situation. We're still waiting word here, too, to see if a possible watch may be issued farther east of where the current one is. The current one takes in our westernmost counties until 1 a.m. But you do know that the tornado warning that we have active is outside the watch area. And that's why we remind everybody that it's folks in and close to a watch area that are susceptible to seeing severe weather, and in this case, a possible tornado. So that's the warning that's active until 9:15 for southwesternmost Butler County and northernmost Logan County. I'm going to go back to Max Storm HD here. I'm going to take off the warning, and there again is the cell of concern between Lewisburg and Morgantown. Morgantown, you're not in the tornado warning. This is to your south and west right now. Quality, though, Quality, you are in it. Sugar Grove, you're a little bit outside the warned area. I'll pop the polygon back up here for you. There it is, including the city of Lewisburg. Still in effect for about another 19 minutes here officially.
And Shane, I just got in from one of our former weather interns that they have penny-sized hail in Lewisburg right now.
Okay, so one of our weather interns reporting hail to penny size that would be about 3/4 of an inch in diameter falling in Lewisburg, and that does confirm what we were noting on radar. There's the hail core that has just moved through the Lewisburg area, especially the north side of it. The strongest hail core is now showing up just a little bit to the northeast of Lewisburg, and still noting hail size that would be severe in criteria in its own right outside the tornado threat that would be just over an inch in diameter. That's showing up now over northern Logan County, basically between Lewisburg and Quality. But you've got that whole area there where we could be encountering hail, and that is in northern Logan County now pushing its way into the southwesternmost part of Butler County. Again, looking here at lofted debris, we're looking at areas of deepest or darkest blues, not noting anything that would really jump out at us right now, which is good news. We hope that it stays that way. We would like to see, obviously, this area of rotation weakening. And going back to velocity scope, if anything, it does look like the rotation may be broadening out somewhat right now, Justin.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially when you're looking at that Fort Campbell scan. Still waiting for it to get a little closer with that Nashville scan. Nashville scan looking a little bit more impressive. As you slide over, you'll see that once it does that little shift, still showing a little bit more prominence with that hook. But again, we got to see how once it moves a little closer to that Nashville, because that's pretty far out from the Nashville radar. So we'll still watch to see how that moves, but still watching this thing. It still could be possibly producing a tornado. So again, if you're in that area, you do need to be in your safe shelter, whether that's the center of your home or in your basement. You need to be heading to those locations right now. And we've been tracking this storm throughout the evening. Now, aside from this storm, I also want to point out there's still some storms developing just off to our west, where there's actually tornado warnings in far eastern Missouri this evening. And there's some more storms headed this way this evening. So just because we have this one storm rolling through doesn't mean we're quite in the clear yet. In fact, as you can see right now, some storms just to the west of Paducah still producing very strong storms, and even with a tornado warning storm just west of Paducah.
Yeah, look at all that lightning showing up there across southern Illinois down to southeast Missouri. I suppose if there's any good news, I'm noting the hail cores here. I'll take off the lightning. Hail cores over southeast Missouri don't look as impressive as they did 30, 45 minutes ago, so that's a sign of some weakening. We hope that trend continues, obviously. And Going back to our tornado warning storm here in northern Logan, southern Butler County. Again, that's our area of concern right now. The hail core here is still holding its own. I'm going to go back to velocity. As noted from the Fort Campbell site, this is the one that would be looking at this one from the southeast, or southwest, I should say, shooting at it toward the northeast. It doesn't look as impressive as it did earlier as far as the rotation where the storm goes. Now, there's still some broad rotation here, mind you, but it's not as tight as it was, say, 45 minutes or an hour ago when it was moving through northern Christian County. So that is good news. And I suspect if that trend continues, then if we get another warning to the east of where this current tornado warning is, it would probably be a severe thunderstorm warning versus a tornado warning. That's the thinking here, and that's the hope here, okay? So that is over northern Logan County right now. We're still looking at the Lewisburg area. Southwestern corner of Butler County, that would take in Quality. Still under tornado warning, still in effect until 9:15. Chief Meteorologist Shane Holliday along with meteorologist Justin Hobbs. We've reached the 9 o'clock hour. You're watching live severe weather coverage here on WBKO for a long track supercell still holding its own over northern Logan County, now southern Butler County, the Quality area down toward Lewisburg, seeing the heaviest weather right now. This storm has had a history of producing a tornado. It did have a confirmed tornado with it when it crossed through northern Christian County about an hour ago. Damage was done near the Crofton community. A mile south of there, we had a report of carport damage, structural damage in that area. We don't know of any other damage in its wake right now, but of course, damage can be hard to see at night, and it could be daylight tomorrow before any more damage is realized from this. But since that time, we've had tornado warnings for part of Muhlenberg and Todd counties. Those have come down. The current one is in effect for southwestern Butler County and northern Logan County until 9:15. There's the look of the storm on Max Storm HD. Reflectivity still very impressive here. Torrential downpours in the red shaded areas here. Look at the rainfall rate, over 6 inches an hour. Of course, that's not going to be what actually falls there in northern Logan County, but that just tells you extremely heavy rainfall involved with this storm. There's a new sweep on it. It's now working to the northeast of Lewisburg, also moving through south and southwesternmost Butler County, including the Quality area. It's going to be working towards Sugar Grove shortly. And again, we continue to await word from the Weather Service as the storm gets closer to Bowling Green, what they're going to do here. It looks to me, though, based on velocity scope, not looking quite as impressive as it did earlier, that we may get a severe thunderstorm warning as opposed to a tornado warning if a new one should be issued. That could take in the city of Bowling Green. Again, we are waiting to see what the Weather Service is going to do here. And, okay, we're getting word from them right now from Brian, the meteorologist there, the Weather Service. It looks like at this point they're going to go with a severe thunderstorm warning rather than a tornado warning for this one, Justin.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's a great call because this storm has continued to decrease with that rotation. It's become much more broad. It looks like the rain is more taking over with it at this point, which helping it choke out. And actually, I'm taking a step out right now, Shane, and I am seeing the rain is falling right now here in Bowling Green. Some frequent lightning, too. If you switch the camera over to outside right now, just outside the studio, some frequent lightning. So alongside from the chance of that rotation, which is, again, going to become just a severe thunderstorm warning at this point, as that rotation has really decreased quite a bit, we are still expecting that potential for hail this evening, which can be very damaging. Along with the damaging winds, we could see those winds cause some damage. So if you are going to be out and about this evening, stay indoors while the storm is rolling through, especially with this frequent lightning around this time of the year, too. Very impressive to see this kind of lightning.
It is.
This early on in the season, which, of course, March kicking off severe weather season. And I guess we're kicking off just right at this point.
Yeah, we are in Severe Weather Awareness Week here in Kentucky. I mentioned earlier, we've got the statewide tornado drill coming up Wednesday morning. How timely is this situation tonight? Just a reminder that the season is upon us. And again, there's that new severe thunderstorm warning. It is not a tornado warning for Bowling Green. It's a severe thunderstorm warning here, which is the lesser of the two evils. But that's what we've got until 9:30. Takes in a large portion of Warren County, Butler County, and also the northeastern corner of Logan County. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning as opposed to a tornado warning, which is some good news here. There has been some weakening with the rotation center. It's not quite as pronounced as it was earlier. The storm is starting to do what we call bow out a little bit here. It's not the supercell structure that we noted, say 45 minutes or an hour ago. Not as tight as it was. Going to go back into velocity here. And you can see there's still some green against red, inbound versus outbound, but the green is not as bright as it was, and the red is not as bright as it was earlier. So that tells us that the inbound, outbound wind structure is not as pronounced. And that is good news.
And something you can also note too, Shane, is just ahead of this storm now, you can see where that rain is developing kind of ahead of it. Even here in Bowling Green and down to the south, a lot of times when that rain develops ahead of where the storm is, it is indicative since that storm is weakening.
Yeah, and I'm going to go in a little bit tighter here. Again, Bowling Green under a severe thunderstorm warning right now until the bottom of the hour. We're going to go in a little tighter here. There is the area where we still have some broad rotation going on. It's not as strong as it was, but we're still keeping an eye on it there along Highway 106, Highway 2377. There's Highway 79, which runs from Russellville to Morgantown. And that would be the area here where the most pronounced rotation is right now. But as mentioned, it's not as strong as it was when it came through, say, northern Christian County, northern Todd County a little while ago, and that is some good news. Let's check the hail core once again. Still noting some decent-sized hail with this one. We had a report of penny-sized hail when the storm came through Lewisburg earlier by one of our former weather interns here in our weather department. The hail size just over an inch in diameter in the blue shaded area right along Highway 106, which leads you out of Lewisburg and leads you into Butler County. Okay, and the hail actually looks a little bit more impressive on the latest scan here. This just updated. So let's go back into this once again. And along Highway 2377, hail size is back up a bit now to 1.7 inches in diameter. So there's still a possibility here for hail that could be up to ping pong ball size out of this storm as it works out of Logan and Butler counties and into Warren County.
You know, Shane, that's probably part of that RFD, what we call the rear flank downdraft, the back end of the storm, which can have some of the most damaging hail as well as some of those damaging winds. Now, this storm, as it is pushing towards our east, it is becoming more outflow dominant, and that inflow's really gotten contaminated. It's really not getting that much feed into it anymore, which is why they have downgraded it to just that severe thunderstorm warning as it does progress to the east. But as it does so, we could expect winds up to 60 miles per hour. So still that potential for damaging wind as well as that damaging hail. So if you are in that area, you want to step indoors while the storm moves through, as it's a potent little storm moving through.
And there are the times on it. The Bald Knob Church area, 9:13 estimated time of arrival for the strongest part, which would include the part that's still showing some broad rotation there of northern Logan County. Ebenezer Church at 9:25, Share at 9:25, and then Cedar Grove Church right at the bottom of the hour at 9:30. Let me erase this much. Again, Bowling Green under the severe thunderstorm warned area. It's going to be closer to the bottom of the hour, it would appear, before the storm would arrive here in the city of Bowling Green. You've also got another storm that has developed out here south and east of that supercell storm, the one we've been tracking for the longest time here. It's producing a fair amount of lightning in its own right. That's trying to work its way toward Rockfield and also Woodburn right now. And indeed, Woodburn on the north side of town, heavy rain showing up there right along 31W. Nothing tornadic in this part of the storm here, but we are noting not only heavy rain, but also lightning showing up here north of Woodburn. This also takes in the area along 242, getting out of Woodburn and working your way toward US 6880. Heavy rain in that area too. That's going to be working toward the Rich Pond community in the next little while. So all these areas under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, but again, not a tornado warning in Warren County at this time.
And Shane, I was just taking a look out on our webcam. Quite a bit of lightning right now. In fact, starting to see that cloud to ground lightning as it's getting closer on the horizon. Yeah, let's go back to the webcam. I wanted to do that a little while ago, and then we had the severe thunderstorm warning issued. But there's our view once again. We're looking due west from the studios here on Russellville Road. The lightning is becoming more frequent by the minute, and expect that to be the case for Bowling Green as we work closer to the bottom of the hour. That's when we expect the main crux of this storm to arrive. It's now working through communities like Sugar Grove, Quality up in Butler County, the Costello community in northern Logan County right now, getting in on some of the heaviest weather. There's also still some broad rotation there in the vicinity of Costello, especially just north of there, along the Butler-Logan County line, and that's going to be moving toward the Sharer community
and also Buffalo Fork, which is basically right on the Warren, Butler, Logan County confluence in the next little while. So be aware, there could be some strong gusty winds with that. I'm going to go back to the radar product here. We'll keep an eye on the look outside here on Bowling Green. Again, Bowling Green under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, not a tornado warning, but there's still a threat here for straight line winds to 60 miles an hour, and also a threat for large hail here in the city within the next half hour or so. And we still cannot forget that we have the tornado warning remaining up for another 6 minutes for those of you in southwestern Butler County and northern Logan County. Even though the rotation is not as strong as it was a little while ago, we don't want to completely let you off the hook just yet there in that warned area. There is the velocity scope, still noting rotation. Broad, though, but it's still there over southwesternmost Butler County and northernmost Logan County. I'm going to the radar site out of Nashville. Going to go in as tight as I can to this area and then pan my way over to the west somewhat. I'm going to take out the lightning and warning layers there. And still some decent inflow. But what we don't know is what we saw earlier, about 45 minutes or an hour ago, where we had that bright green against bright red. So that tells us that the low-level rotation is not as pronounced as it was an hour ago when this was going through Christian County, moving out of there into northern Todd County, which is some good news, but still under the tornado warning there in a part of northern Logan County and a part of southwestern Butler County for about another 5 minutes until that one's off the board. Justin checking in with folks at the Weather Service.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing anything a few minutes ago, just seeing that Brian from the National Weather Service saying they are going to hold off from even considering that a tornado warning. It's going to stay a severe thunderstorm warning as it moves to the east, as that rotation is still fairly broad. However, if it does tighten it up, we will expect them to reissue that warning. But right now, again, like you said, Shane, rotation has broadened out quite a bit over the last few scans as it's continued to move off to the east.
Okay, so possibility still there for some strong gusty straight line winds, and possibility still there for some large hail as the storm gets a little bit closer to Bowling Green. The tornado warning, that'll be coming down here in just a few minutes for Butler and Logan counties. And are we getting anything new from the Weather Service here?
I don't see anything.
Okay. Want to make sure. As that tornado warning comes down, what we will likely do at that moment is go back to regular programming on WBKO ABC, but we will stay with our streaming coverage here on Facebook Live as the storm does not look quite as intense as it did earlier, although we still have a severe thunderstorm warning with it that will take in the city of Bowling Green until 9:30. So that's our plan at this point. Once that tornado warning comes down, and that will happen here within the next 2.5 minutes for those of you in Butler and Logan counties. At that point, we'll kind of regroup our efforts here, but again, we'll continue to be live here, Justin and I, on Facebook Live as we could track this storm as it works its way out of Butler and Logan counties and into Warren County. Still very impressed there by the returns I'm seeing on radar, particularly over southern Butler County. Going to go back into this area once again. And I know we're going back and forth between one radar site to another, which is why the look of the reflectivity changes a little bit as we do so. But very impressive rain there around Sugar Grove, also in the northern part of Logan County. And right there, heavy rainfall rates here of several inches per hour rolling through Sugar Grove right now. A ton of light with the storm, lightning that could potentially put out your power at least briefly there, and strong wind. I want to note the shear product here. I'll take off the warning layers for just a moment. You see that area blue, and actually several showing up here in northern Logan County, southern Butler County. There is strong straight line wind potential with those shearing winds that are working out of the Lewisburg area, and we'll be working toward far western Warren County here in the next little bit. Okay, we've now got an expiration officially on the tornado warning for Butler and Logan counties, but we still have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Bowling Green until 9:30. Also for a portion of Butler County that takes in Sugar Grove, there it is, and northeasternmost Logan County, just northeast of Chandler's Chapel, under the severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30, and that's for this cluster of thunderstorms now. Not looking as healthy as it once did, that supercell structure, but still noting a fair amount of wind with this one, noting what could be some large hail with this one, There it is, showing up over southern Butler County, moving toward the Sugar Grove area. That's going to arrive in the Hadley area of northwestern Warren County in the next little while, moving over US 231 and also I-165. And still a lot of lightning with this storm, which will become more frequent with time here as it moves into the Bowling Green area. One more word for you, Justin, before we go back on air on WBKO.
Just stay focused tonight. Just stay aware with the weather that's going on, as we do still have that severe weather. So with that gusty winds that are moving through, I mean, possibly up to 70 miles per hour, that's still considered damaging winds. So be careful tonight if you are going to be out and about, especially after these storms move through. They are putting down quite a bit of rain, so you could see some localized flooding. So just be cautious tonight if you're out and out. We have had reports of damage already, so just stay indoors tonight. Don't go out and look for damage. Let the folks take care of the things tonight and get it cleared up.
Okay, so what we're going to do right now with the expiration of the tornado warning, we're going to go back on the air on WBKO ABC. We're going to continue to stream here on the line on Facebook Live, Justin and myself. Should we get further report of any large hail, any damaging wind, we will jump right back on the air on WBKO ABC. In fact, and we may do that as the storm gets a little bit closer to Bowling Green, which will happen here within the next 15 minutes or so, so stand by for that. Otherwise, for Justin Hobbs, I'm Chief Meteorologist Shane Holliday. We're going to go back on air on WBKO ABC with the caveat that if any further damage does occur, or if we do get a tornado warning, we will jump back in.
You Kinder Bueno.
I want to do it. Medullary.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Shane Holliday along with meteorologist Justin Hobbs. We are jumping back on the air here for a moment as we have a new warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning taking in the northern portion of Warren County north of Bowling Green, a good chunk of Edmonson County, including the city of Brownsville, and a small portion of far eastern Butler County. And that goes until 10 o'clock tonight. There it is, that polygon right there at the center of your screen. Keep in mind, we still have the tornado watch in effect for the western side of the viewing area. That goes until 1 a.m. I'm going to focus on what's happening here closer to Bowling Green. This is the same supercell storm that produced the tornado about 90 minutes ago over northern Christian County. It's moved through the Crofton area there. It produced some damage. Since that time, it has weakened somewhat, but it's still holding its own and still capable of producing wind gusts to 60 miles an hour and still has the possibility of producing hail up to the size of quarters, Justin.
Yeah, so if you're in this area, you just need to be heading indoors, as we are expecting that to move through. It should be moving right over Greencastle right about now. Sand Hill, you're about to see the blunt of this storm, and then eventually making its way off towards Pig over the next bit. But again, Shane, very impressive lightning with this storm, especially this early into the year. Very frequent lightning, so stay away from windows and doors this evening. If you're trying to watch that storm, just stay closer indoors. Stay away from those windows, as this storm does have a lot of frequent lightning and has had a history of frequent lightning, as well as that strong damaging wind, as well as some hail. And looking at that hail signature right now, still seeing that just to the north and west of town, and also seeing another little signature just north and east of Greencastle. Yeah, that hail size there, max hail core 1.1 inch diameter, so that's about the size of quarters, and that's what the Weather Service has determined could be falling out of this storm now just west of Bowling Green. We'll look at the shear product here. And again, there's the warning polygon, but note the area blue here west of Bowling Green, strongest wind, and that will be arriving in Bowling Green very soon. The storm is moving to the east at about 25 miles an hour, so that will take it into the city of Bowling Green within the next 15 minutes or so. So while we're already getting in on some of the rain, some of the lightning and thunder, the area of strongest winds and also the area of hail will likely arrive in the city within the next minutes. And there again, you see the lightning. There's quite a bit of lightning with this storm that extends northward into the easternmost sections of Butler County around the Round Hill and Jetson communities. And that's also going to be moving into the Brownsville area. As I go back to reflectivity mode here on radar, you'll note that the areas of Edmonson County will be affected here soon. Let me pan back toward northern Warren County, also Brownsville. Brownsville, you're also next in line to get some very heavy downpours. Lots of lightning, strong gusty wind, the potential of that up to 60 miles an hour, and that extends down through Greencastle, the Barron River community, and down to the area just west of Bowling Green. So again, there's the whole warned area there in the polygon. That's a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning.
but a severe thunderstorm warning until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock, basically taking in the area of Warren County north of Bowling Green, including Greencastle, also Anna, Richardsville, you're in on this warning as well, and Brownsville up in Evanston County until the top of the hour. Main threat here would be the quarter-size hail, along with wind gusts possibly to 60 miles an hour that could take down some trees and power lines. Stay tuned to us with WBKO, Justin Hobbs and myself. If there is any other report of significant damage, we will jump back in. Otherwise, we're going to go back to regular programming right now on WBKO ABC, which is The Good Doctor. But we are still streaming live and also online over on Facebook.
It's too hard.